Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all about the ERA test, the protocol, my experience, the cost, and my results. So if you guys are new here, welcome. My husband and I struggle with infertility. We have conceived one little girl through IVF. We've had 2 failed frozen embryo transfers, one that completely failed, one that ended in a very early miscarriage, and so we have been led to the ERA test. If you are unfamiliar with the ERA test, it stands for endometrial receptivity analysis. The test is intended for implantation failure, so if you've had multiple failed cycles or miscarriages, then you are the perfect candidate for an ERA test. So at my clinic, you have to have 2 failed frozen embryo transfers before they allow you to do ERA testing. I guess I should say failed transfers, not just frozen, fresh or frozen. As long as you've had 2, then you have the option to do ERA testing. So my husband and I went ahead, did the ERA testing. ERA testing is still fairly new. I think it's only been around for about 5 years at this point. So my doctor was a little apprehensive of us doing it. She still doesn't believe in it 100%, but we went ahead and we did it anyways. It is to find the optimal time for transfer for you. For the ERA test, they take a biopsy of your endometrial lining at the time of a transfer. So instead of transferring an embryo, they basically just go in there and they take a biopsy, I know it sounds painful, of your endometrial lining to see if it is receptive. So it can either be pre-receptive, receptive, or post-receptive, and it is all based on the amount of progesterone that you take. So for my protocol, which is the same protocol that I followed for both of my frozen embryo transfers, basically when they do the testing, it is a mock transfer. So you are to follow the exact same protocol you would for a frozen embryo transfer. My protocol was on the first day of my period, I start taking estrase, otherwise known as estrogen. 2 weeks after that, I go in for a lining check. If all looks good, I start progesterone the next day. I take progesterone for 6 days, and then I transfer on day 6. So on day 6, instead of transferring this time, they did the biopsy instead. My results took about 3 weeks to come in, and I'll share those with you at the end of the video. So here I'm gonna go ahead and insert my experience. So I actually somewhat kind of vlogged or filmed the day of my actual biopsy, so I would have that and exactly how I felt right then and there for you guys. So here that is. I am on my way to my ERA, and just like my frozen embryo transfers, an hour before you have to drink 20 ounces of water, which I drank, but it wasn't really an hour before, so I'm still drinking a little bit more to try to, hopefully my bladder is full enough, basically is what I'm trying to get out. So yeah, I'm on my way. I am a little bit nervous only because I have read and watched a few YouTube videos where people have said that this hurts really bad, and I haven't taken anything. They didn't give me anything to take. She said that I could take some Tylenol before, but I didn't do that. So just going in here and winging it. I do have a pretty high pain tolerance, so I will let y'all know how it goes. So I'm done. I'm out. It was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It seriously, okay, everybody's different obviously, but it did not hurt at all. Like, I had no cramping, nothing. Like I mentioned before, I do have what I would consider like a higher pain tolerance, but It was so easy. They actually did it in the room that they do my hysteroscopies in. So it was not done like in the frozen embryo transfer room. I actually did not have to drink the 20 ounces of water an hour before, so I was very thankful because I could pee then. And it basically starts like a normal pap smear. They have you lay back, put your feet in the stirrups. They insert the speculum. They took this little white tube. They didn't put a catheter in me or anything. They didn't do an ultrasound or anything. They literally just stuck this teeny tiny little white, it almost looked like a stick, like a little white stick in me. And she said that would have been the painful part. She told me to just take a deep breath, count to 10, and it would be over. And it was the doctor and 2 nurses in there with me, and they were like all counting to 10. And when she pulled it out, I'm like, it didn't hurt at all. Like, I literally felt nothing. Like, it was totally fine. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of horror stories about this. For me, like, it was not bad at all. And like I said before too, I didn't take anything. I didn't take Tylenol, Motrin, nothing. So I don't know if I'll be crampy like later, but as of right now, I'm completely fine. And the whole process probably took like 2 minutes, not even. So yeah, that was that. I don't know if I'm leaving anything out. I know some companies too, so I think this one is going through the Egonomics. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And some companies take 2 biopsies. This company only takes 1, so I only have to do this 1 time. So now I guess it's just a waiting game. We're going to wait about 3 weeks to find out the results, and I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't come back that it's normal. And that, I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, don't stress over the ERA. It was a breeze. And I guess if it is painful for you or kind of crampy, it literally only lasts like 10 seconds. You can do it, okay? If you're doing this, you obviously want to have a baby or you've had babies, and that is much worse than the 10 seconds of pain that you have to endure for this if it hurts for you. So yeah, but those little babies are worth every ounce of pain that you have to go through to get them here anyways. And yeah, so that is all. One more thing I wanted to say. I was told to stop all medications now. So no more progesterone, no more estrogen. So I'm assuming that AF is going to arrive within like 2 or 3 days, which would be early for me to get my normal period, but whatever. There was another thing I wanted to say. Can't remember what it was now. If I remember, I'll let you know. I remembered. So she said, because I said in there that I hope that it doesn't come back normal, because then this kind of would have been a waste to do because it's normal. And she said, well, I guess the way you could look at it is this is basically like an endometrial scratch too, which some clinics will actually do before you do a transfer. It's supposed to help the embryo implant. So she said, if worse comes to worse, at least you're having like an endometrial scratch in the process, and you know that could increase your chances next round. So that is all I have for you guys now. After the ERA test, I was instructed to stop doing progesterone and estrogen that day. Within about 3 days, my period arrived. I did not experience any symptoms after my ERA test other than very, very, very minimal bleeding. So I had no cramping, no discomfort, very minimal bleeding, and then my period arrived and was completely normal about 3 days later. So my experience was a walk in the park compared to some of the other people that I've watched on YouTube, but that is just my experience. As for the cost of the ERA for us, So I am located in the Cleveland, Ohio area. My insurance does not cover anything related to infertility, not ultrasounds, not blood work, literally nothing. Not a dime, not a penny. They don't cover anything infertility related, unfortunately. So our biopsy itself was $720. The ERA test through the company, which the company was Economics, I believe is how you pronounce it, and that cost $795. So for my clinic to do the test, it cost $720. The ERA test through the company cost $795. So, you know, roughly about $1,500. And then I did have to go in for one blood work and lining check, which costs me about $1,000. So it was a little bit cheaper than a frozen embryo transfer, but it was still about $2,500 when it's all said and done. So it definitely wasn't a cheap decision that we made. But I was happy that we did it, because when my results came back, I am somebody that actually needs 12 less hours of progesterone than I was taking. So I was actually considered receptive, but I am on the very, very, very edge, skimming the line of receptive. So with that being said, they decided that the company decided what they do is they suggest. So after $2,500, you get a suggestion, and they had suggested that I take 12 less hours of progesterone, kind of putting me more in the mid-receptive range. So this is how my doctor explained it. If you're looking at the chart, at the bottom you are pre-receptive. Then there's a blue line that goes through the middle, which is receptive. And then at the very top, it is post-receptive. And I am right at the very top of the blue line, just skimming the top of it, she said, at receptive and post-receptive, which there then means that I need 12 less hours of progesterone to kind of bring me into the middle of the blue. So that is where we stand. As for when we will transfer next, so as of right now when I'm filming this, it is April. And as of right now, we don't plan on doing another transfer until July. So when I go in for my next transfer, I will just be doing the same protocol, but taking 12 hours less of progesterone. So instead of taking it at 8 a.m., I'm going to take it at 8 p.m., and that's how it's going to happen. We are still kind of discussing and on the fence about whether or not we want to transfer 1 or 2 embryos this next round. So I am all ears. Please, in the comments below, let me know what you guys have done in the past. Have you transferred 1 or 2 embryos? I've always been a little leery on transferring 2 because, you know, you do have the chance of conceiving multiples at that point, and then you are considered high-risk pregnancy. So that is a little uneasy for me, but because I was borderline receptive, I don't want to continue transferring to continue having failed transfers, and it's very expensive for us to do it. So, you know, I just don't know what to do at this point. So we do have some months to decide whether or not we want to do 1 or 2. My doctor obviously is recommending that we try the new protocol and only transfer 1, but, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. So that is where we are. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was somewhat informative for you if you are kind of debating whether or not you want to do the ERA testing. I personally thought that it was totally worth it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so that you don't miss when we do our transfers. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!